Hey, it's Denise, and welcome to another day of Safe at Home. That's right, we're not calling it Stuck at Home. I can't remember who it was that I saw use the phrase. I wish I could give credit to the person who did because I think it's really the way we all need to be looking at it. We are not stuck at home, we are safe at home. And we're keeping other people safe by staying home. So let's keep that in mind. Let's stop saying stuck at home and remember safe at home. Now, I thought I could pull off this Carnival very cheerful looking hat because I don't know that I'll be going on my Carnival cruise that's planned for December depending on what's going on in the world. You might be saying, Denise, you mention frequently that you're on a tight budget, which I am, and it got a lot tighter when I became single when my boyfriend of 4 years ditched me in September. But I had started paying for this cruise at the end of 2018. So I took a 2-year, sort of like a car payment. I booked the cruise 2 years in advance. I was on the lovely Carnival Pride for Christmas of 2018, and as soon as we got home, I was like, yes, for my son's graduation, which is this year, and obviously he's not going to be having a real high school graduation. He's going to be having, a sanitized, hopefully, diploma probably sent to him in the mail with some sort of email commemorating the event. How exciting, right? Anyway, so I had thought, okay, I'll give you the backstory. I was going to spare you the backstory because I mentioned it in one of my other videos, but this might be the first video of mine you're watching. And if so, welcome. Please subscribe. Please like. Even if you only feel so, it wouldn't hurt you to hit that thumbs up, that like button. Anyway, when my son was younger and my husband had not walked out on us yet, we went on a cruise, and he's too young to really remember. He was too young, I should say, at the time, so that now he doesn't really remember much of it. It was 8 years ago, well, more than 8 years ago. And Carnival was at the time just building their ship, the Carnival Magic. Okay, I'm taking this hat off, because how can I expect you to take me seriously in a hat like such a bright hat? I mean, after all, a person wants to be taken seriously when they're, wearing their Disney princess-worthy giant ponytail. I don't think any of them have purple hair that I can think of. But if it wasn't for the color, I mean, think of Merida's red hair. Or, I just went blank on her name, the one from Jasmine, with her black hair. They've all got, this much hair. I don't have that much hair. I think I'll live with this much hair for now. Okay, there we go. Far more serious looking. Anyway, they were only just building the Carnival Magic back then, and it was to the point where they were showing you the computer-generated images of what it was going to look like when it was finished, and my son was like, I want to go on that ship. And I was like, you know what? Someday we're going to go on that ship. And so on our Christmas 2018 cruise, which was the first cruise we had been on since then, right when we got home, I thought, wow, in 2 years he's graduating from high school. If I start making the payments now, it's kind of like taking on a little car payment. If I fit it into our budget now, over the course of the 2 years, I can pay off. So, they didn't have Christmas week available, but okay, so the first week in December is what we got. Close enough. I figured it's the ship he wanted to go on, and, that would be what a cool gift, considering that, like I said, money is tight, and taking 2 years to pay for this, and now there's a tremendous possibility that it's going to have to be canceled because of the whole COVID-19 thing. Is part of me crossing my fingers that in December the cruise lines will be open again? Absolutely. Am I trying to have hope and be positive that they will be? Absolutely. Am I really letting myself get my hopes up that much? Not so much. This thing is going to take us a while to get over. And I think what we need to do is find the little things every day that can make us happy instead of focusing on the negative, which so many are doing. I was letting myself fall into the habit of watching way too much news coverage. Please, for your own sanity, once or twice a day, watch, your chosen, whichever news station you feel like gives you the most accurate scientific information, because that's what we need right now. We don't need political debate or division or derision or, we can all argue with each other as it gets closer to election day about politics. Right now isn't the time. I think right now the thing we need to be doing is keeping our, while staying safe at home, lifestyle. We need to try to mix it up, keep it interesting, keep it fun. Because fun and pandemic really aren't often in the same sentence. And then I'm not saying this or doing this more lighthearted video in any way to make light of the suffering that people are going through. If I had a way to alleviate that suffering, believe me, I would be doing that. But what we have instead with social media is the ability to help each other at home spread good information and spread good cheer. So today, I'm just going with some silly little things that I find entertaining and that won't make me talk for an hour like I usually do, which people are like, oh dear God, someone put duct tape over her mouth. So, one thing, okay, no, we're not talking 50 Shades of anything here. But my best friend, who probably won't bother to watch this video, I'm talking to you, Sal, frequently wears, do you call it a bracelet if a guy's wearing it? A cuff, it's too big for my wrist. Since I lost the weight, I have skinny little wrists now. I never had skinny little wrists before. He had given me one of these a long time ago. We've been friends for 26 years. So he had given me one of these a long time ago, but my house burnt down 8 years ago. And everything I owned, pretty much, except a few things that weren't there, went up in flames. So this is one that I bought for myself. It's been just sitting around, but you know what? Now that I can't go visit Sal, or anyone else for that matter, I can wear it on my skinny little ankle, which I never really had before either. And it reminds me of him. You hear that, Sal? I'm wearing this potentially uncomfortable thing on my ankle because I'm thinking of you, bud, even though we are 4 hours apart and you never watch my videos. Next, one of my favorite things, you may say this is a tiny little piece of art, a cheap little thing hanging on a string. How funny or inspirational could this be? Well, I don't even remember what catalog or website I saw this on, and I've seen it posted like as a meme, but I actually saw it for sale on a website or a catalog, and I was like, you know what? That's the kind of attitude people need. And I've had this for a couple years, but today it really struck me as the sense of awe and wonder that can be there. You know, if that little rat can think that a bat is an angel because it has wings, and please, let's not hate on bats. It's not their fault that they are a vector for disease. People shouldn't be effing with them or with any other wildlife that shouldn't be. It's called wildlife for a reason. You're supposed to leave it alone. So don't hate on the bat. What other little things today am I looking at and saying, yeah, that brings a smile to my face? My Hogwarts journal, which I don't know if that's something, no, I think, did I rip I'm trying to feel if I ripped the cover or if it's something stuck to the cover. I thought I had lost my Hogwarts journal. I haven't been able to find it for weeks. This might sound like a stupid thing to you. I'm someone who journals. It's been a habit I've had on and off since I was, yes, I'm aware this is trying to crawl away. It's a habit I've had on and off since I was like 19. Most of my journals got burnt to a crisp along with everything else I owned. The one I was currently working on was in a different place of the house, and so that last one I had. So most of a lifetime of writing was lost, but hey, no reason not to, keep it up. For a little while, I was like, so bummed by the loss of all those journals that I was like, why bother? And then I was like, you bother because A, it's good for you. It's therapeutic. It gets things off your chest that maybe aren't so good to say to other people, especially like if you're in a bad mood, or me, if you're, during the time that you're on prednisone for an asthma flare-up or inflammatory bowel flare-up. Prednisone makes me a not very nice version of myself. It makes me like, it might as well just be like super bitch pill here. And you have to take like 6 of them a day for 3 days, and then 5 of them a day for 3 days, etc., etc. So not the best to me when I'm on them. It's definitely better that things get written in something that no one but me is ever going to read, because if they came out of my mouth, I wouldn't even have the few friends that I do have. I don't make friends easily. To me, it's like making a friend is like how other people take getting married. Like, it's serious. I don't believe in like just, casual acquaintances who, I don't call them friends. I call them acquaintances. So the people I call friends are people that are truly dear to me and that I believe feel the same way about me. And that's rare to find people like that. And I'm fortunate to have a few of them in my life. Not that they watch my videos. But again, obviously I have a forgiving heart. Or maybe they should start watching my videos. Betsy and Linda. Yeah, talking to you. So, yes, after the fire and I got over the initial funk of, well, I've lost all of that, why bother? It's like, for the same reason you did it all those years, that's why you bother. And also because it is kind of fun when you look back a few years later and see how things have changed, and your perspective of what was going on then may be very different than how it is, years after the fact. If ever there was a time to journal, even if you're someone who never has, I would say it's now. Because we're going through something that is historically significant for the world. We're living through sort of uncharted territories. Since modern travel, everyone hates when you compare this to the plague back in Middle Ages, but, people weren't flying around the world as easily. Well, they weren't flying around the world, but they weren't traveling around the world as easily then, so you didn't have the spread like you have with what we're dealing with now. So this is a new thing, and I do think it's worth journaling about your experience. You can write a little blurb every day. You can just write on the days that you feel inspired to write something. I think to get in the habit when you first start to journal, it's good, says the woman wearing her cheap imitation. Yes, this was meant to be a Halloween-y type thing. This was not meant to be a wear every day type of wig. So yes, I realize it's a little hard to take me too seriously right now. But today's point was kind of that, not to be too serious. But again, if you're not going to run out to the store and risk exposure to COVID to buy a journal right now, I get that. Even as someone who loves to journal and likes to have a journal that I love, and believe me, when I got my Hogwarts one, do you see the thing there with all the houses on it? Yeah. Big Harry Potter geek. And I do have Jason to thank for that, because I had never really been into them before. And I'm someone, if they made movies, I don't want to see the movies until I've read the books. Or, in my case, since the eye surgery, listened to the unabridged version of the book. Because the books are always so much better and have so much detail. I don't care what author you're talking about. But, yes, I digress, which I always do. So it turns out my beloved journal was not lost. I've been writing in just a notebook, an extra notebook that I had lying around, because again, I'm not going to go out there to the store for something unnecessary. Even though I love to journal, I had extra notebooks and extra journal type books and things. Some of the subscription boxes I get I've gotten journals in. So I just was writing one of those and very unhappy I couldn't find this. Well, guess what I found at the bottom of a bag that I never bothered unpacking all the way. Yes, big admission of laziness. I just kind of hung my duffel bag, which was one of the many bags I brought home after my being away from my surgery, and I just kind of hung it up with the things that I tend to leave in it. There are a couple things, basics that don't go bad kind of things that I just leave in it because that's what I toss things in as a weekend bag. So it's just a habit to kind of, I don't always empty that all the way to the bottom. And if I'm just going away for a day or two, I don't usually bother taking this with me. So yeah, I hadn't put two and two together. Today I was looking in there for something else and found this. And it was like, yay me. Okay. Incredibly lazy that during the times I was looking for it, it never crossed my mind to look there. But made me happy, made my day, got my journal back. Little things that I've gotten recently that I'm still very happy about. Another one of my favorite YouTubers is Townsend's, and I had gotten their little they do their live broadcasts every week from their set of what would have been an 18th century tavern, and it's called the Nutmeg Tavern, and it's like sign on the door. So yes, I have a Nutmeg Tavern apron, which I will probably never cook in. When I got this apartment, it was furnished. There were some very strange things here, including a bright yellow apron with chickens on it, and it says the Chicken Brothers. I also bought an apron that's pink and green and has flamingos. They're both really busy, color and pattern wise, and so if I stained them while cooking, I wouldn't really care. My Townsend's one I got kind of more just because I thought it was cool. And when I got that, I also, because if you watch their videos, John is a complete nutmeg freak, and apparently 18th century recipes, almost all of them, just almost as common as salt, they call for nutmeg. And so yes, I got my little jar of whole nutmegs. If now I could only find the thing that you use to grate them with, one of those little mini, like a zester, like that you would use if you were zesting a lemon or a lime or something. But no, I can't find it. They probably have them on Amazon. I don't think there's been a run on mini graters, right? It's not like toilet paper. I think you can probably still get that. So yeah, I looked at that and it just kind of brings a smile to my face. Of course, chocolate. Still have chocolate in the house. Haven't run out, so that's a good thing. Still have the all natural ZQL gummies. You might think medication isn't necessarily the most exciting thing when you're someone who has 2 sleep disorders, and nothing like a little stress to add to additional difficulty sleeping. We all have stuff on our mind right now. If we don't, there's either we're too young or too old or have some other reason that we don't understand what's going on. The rest of us have a little extra stress on our minds, probably. So yes, I am happy that I have most over-the-counter sleep stuff, at least here in the United States, is basically Benadryl. It's diphenhydramine, the antihistamine, which if you have restless leg syndrome, which is one of the sleep disorders I have, and if you're someone who doesn't think it's real, I wish you could experience it just once, just for a couple hours, just to know what it feels like. And then you would know that it's very real and it's quite the miserable thing. And it can keep you awake all night because you can't even stay laying down. Benadryl makes it worse. So anything that's for sleep that contains that, obviously would be a huge no-no for me. So I like this one that's melatonin, chamomile, and lavender, even though I think they charge a ridiculous amount for it, because let's face it, none of those are even, like patented type things. You can buy a zillion different brands of any of those ingredients, and because and the flavor of the gummy isn't great. It's kind of grown on me over time that I don't feel like ugh as I chew them anymore. I think that's just kind of like I associate it now with this is a good thing. I'm taking this. I'm getting ready to go to bed. It's part of the bedtime routine. And they had a not buy one get one free, but a buy one get one half off. So the last time I was at the pharmacy, I did get 4 bottles of it, so 2 of the buy one get one half offs. So yeah, little small things, but happy for that. And last but not least, yes, I wanted to do one of my gratitude cards, which I have not done. Where are they? I had gotten these in a subscription box, and I had felt like sharing them was something good. Because it's easy to focus on what we're not happy about right now, and to forget to be grateful for the things that we are. Sometimes these cards are weird, and I don't look in advance, so let's see. Courage. It takes courage to become who you really are. What courageous acts are you grateful for performing? Okay then. Let's see. What courageous acts am I grateful for performing? I'm grateful that I didn't fall apart when my health went to shit. My husband left me. I lost my house. Then my summer house that I moved into in the winter burned to the ground. I didn't lose my shit. I kept it together for the sake of my kids who were being traumatized enough by what was going on. And I realized that I was stronger than I thought I was. And sometimes it takes adversity for us to realize that we are way stronger than we had given ourselves credit for being. Even though it turned out not to be a success, I'm glad that I was brave enough to try to start a business. After the neck injury ended my nursing career, I'm not a sit around and do nothing person. I learned everything one could possibly learn about making homemade soap. I'm not talking the melt and pour stuff you buy at the craft store. I mean, you're using lye, you're wearing goggles and protective equipment because you're using straight up lye. That's the real way to make real soap. And I used only the best oils and butters, shea butter, mango butter. You need to add some palm oil in there. I know it gets a bad rep because there are people who don't source it ethically. But you really need it otherwise you don't get bubbles. You don't really get suds. It's hard to get them. The addition of sugar can help raise your suds level. Castor oil, I think, at a very small percentage can help, but mostly palm oil is what gives you that bubbly suds that most of us want to feel like we are getting when when we're washing our hands with a bar of soap. So while you can make 100% olive oil soap that it does not get bubbly, it gets like a creamy, like a lotiony type lather. It's cleaning your hands just as well. But people don't see the bubbles and don't feel like it's getting their hands as clean as it should. Anyway, I spent a ton of money on all the materials, all of the, top-notch stuff that I would want on my skin, which is very sensitive, on my family's skin, on beautiful handmade in America wooden molds to use. I spent a fortune investing in trying to get a small business started, and all the proper insurance that you need to carry in order to sell things that people are going to use on their body. And guess what? It failed miserably. Everyone who used my soap loved it. I had people who a few people who bought tons of it because they said, like, their skin had never been clearer, whether the issue was, because I made different kinds of soap, the ingredients geared towards different kinds of issues, using sort of herbal remedy information. And people loved my soap. Unfortunately, I live in a sort of economically depressed area. People are going to buy the dollar store soap. They're not going to buy the soap that to just barely make the tiniest bit help to break even when you cover all the investment of, like I said, $800 a year for insurance and the, thousands of dollars up front into all the equipment and supplies and molds and colorings and fragrances and all of it having to be top-notch quality stuff that is not going to make people get a rash or, to even break even, you have to charge it like $4, $5 a bar, depending on the size, or the specialty type of soap. When you live somewhere where people are living at or below the poverty line, quite a few of them, they just don't have the money for that. And yes, I did sell it online, but again, there's so many people selling it online that trying to start off as someone new, the volume of orders just I couldn't do it. So yeah, it totally failed as a business. But right now, I probably have a couple hundred bars of soap in my house. And with all this hand washing, I'm sure glad that I'm washing my hands with soap that I know exactly what went into it and that no corners were cut for the sake of saving money and mass producing. There's no mystery chemicals in my soap, and my hands feel good after I wash them. They're thoroughly washed, but they're also not dried to hell because I used the good ingredients, not the cheap ingredients that the mass-produced soap has in it. So yeah, I'm never going to have to buy a bar of soap again, probably as long as I live. And at this particular time, it's a good thing to have extra soap. So there's my gratitude for courageous things I've done, even though one of them was a financial failure. So I hope your day is good. I hope you make the best of this extra time, this time that we are safe at home, not stuck at home, and enjoy the time that you're getting to spend with the people you're with. Maybe you don't normally get to spend this much time with them, and we wouldn't choose to do it all in one big go like this, maybe, but enjoy their company anyway. Have a great day and come up with little things that make you happy. Come up with little things that strike you as funny, because we're all getting overloaded with the serious and they're really not funny. So let's try to keep it lighthearted too, because that's how we're going to get through this with our sanity intact. Have a great day, and hopefully I will talk to you all soon.